Some of you are exhausting yourselves trying to prove your worth to people who don't even deserve an explanation. You keep trying to make them see your vision, trying to make them understand your decisions, trying to get them to believe in you. And while you're doing all that, they're not listening. They're not paying attention. They're too busy doubting you, questioning you, criticizing you. Meanwhile, your life, your precious one and only life, is passing you by. Let me ask you, who are you living for? Because if you're living for their approval, you will die from their rejection. If you are waiting for them to validate your dreams, you will never move. If you keep explaining yourself, you will never be free. Now, listen to me, and listen well. You do not need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to justify your ambition, your faith, your discipline, your dreams, or your sacrifices. The moment you decided to be great, to be different, to rise above average, you signed up for people to question you. But here's the secret. The great ones don't explain, they execute. Why? You must stop explaining yourself. One, people see you through their own limitations. You ever notice how some folks, the moment you start dreaming big, they start shrinking your vision? The second you step out of the comfort zone they built for themselves, they start throwing doubts at you like it's their job. And not because they know something you don't, but because they can't see past their own fears. You tell them you're starting a business, and what do they say? Oh, that's risky. You tell them you're quitting that soul-sucking job to chase your purpose, and suddenly they've got a degree in worst-case scenarios. What if it doesn't work? What if you lose everything? Notice they never say, what if you succeed beyond your wildest dreams? Nope. That thought never even crosses their mind. Why? Because they are speaking from their own limitations, their own insecurities, their own fears. They aren't measuring you, they're measuring themselves. And since they don't see themselves doing it, they assume you can't do it either. But let me tell you something, their ceiling is not your roof. Just because they hit a wall doesn't mean you can't climb over it. Steve Harvey said, your dream has to be bigger than your fear. And I'll add this, your confidence has to be louder than their doubt. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need validation to take a leap of faith. And you definitely don't need to dim your light just because someone else is afraid of the brightness. See, when people tell you your dreams are too big, what they're really saying is that their faith is too small. But that's their problem, not yours. Don't let someone else's limitations become your reality. I remember hearing this story about a flea in a jar. If you put a flea in a jar and seal the lid, it jumps up and hits the top over and over. Eventually, it stops jumping as high because it learns that the lid is there. Even if you remove the lid, the flea will never jump out. Why? Because it's been conditioned to believe there's a limit, even when there isn't one. Now here's the kicker. People do the same thing. They put a lid on their own potential. They stop trying, stop believing, stop dreaming because they've been conditioned to think small. And when they see you out here, jumping higher, reaching further, dreaming bigger, they panic because if you succeed, it means they could have too. And that's a tough pill to swallow. So what do? They project. They try to keep you in the jar with them. Don't go too high, you might fall. Don't take that risk, you might fail. But here's what they won't tell you. If you don't jump at all, you've already failed. You got to understand something. Greatness is lonely. When you decide to break free from mediocrity, not everyone is going to clap for you. Some people will distance themselves because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. And that's okay. Your vision isn't meant for everybody. It's yours. So stop looking for approval from people who are afraid to take risks. Stop explaining your dreams to people who don't have the courage to chase their own. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. If they can't see it, that's on them. But don't you dare let their limited vision blur your focus. Let me leave you with this. Denzel Washington once said, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship." And that's real talk. Growth isn't supposed to be easy. Chasing your dreams isn't supposed to be comfortable. But if you let other people's doubts hold you back, you'll never know what you were truly capable of. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna let small-minded people keep you small? Or are you gonna rise up, break free, and show them that the only limits that exist are the ones they put on themselves? The choice is yours, but I hope you choose greatness. 2, your time is your most valuable asset. Let me tell you something. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Money, you can make more. Opportunities, they come and go. But time, once it's gone for good. And yet so many people waste it like they got a lifetime supply. Every second you spend explaining yourself is a second you could have spent executing. Every minute you waste convincing people why your dream matters is a minute you could have spent building it. While you're sitting there trying to justify your vision to people who don't even believe in themselves, someone else is out there making moves. They're grinding, they're working, they're taking that leap of faith while you're still waiting for approval. But let me ask you, who are you waiting on? The world ain't gonna stop spinning just because you're hesitating. The clock is ticking, and let me tell you something, time don't wait for nobody. You ever see a lion in the wild stop to explain to the gazelle why it's chasing it? Nah, it just runs, it hunts. It does what it was born to do, and that's exactly how you need to approach your time. Stop explaining, stop seeking validation, stop looking for applause before you've even taken the stage. You don't need a round of applause to get started. You need to start. Denzel Washington said, "You pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too." Well, let me add this. When you pray for success, you got to deal with the doubt too. You got to deal with the critics. You got to deal with the sleepless nights, the hard work, the setbacks. But what you don't have to deal with, explaining yourself to people who ain't even on the same mission. People will doubt you. That's a given. They'll tell you it's too risky. They'll say you should play it safe. They'll question your decisions because they don't have the courage to make their own. But listen to me. Your time is too valuable to spend it proving people wrong. Instead, spend it proving yourself right. And let's talk about distractions. Oh, they're everywhere. Social media, drama, negativity, all these things pulling you away from your purpose. You ever notice how the people who aren't doing anything always have the most to say? That's because they have time to waste. But you ain't got time for that. Your vision requires focus. It requires discipline. It requires you to protect your time like it's your most valuable possession, because it is. Think about the greats. Think about Kobe Bryant waking up at 4 a.m. to train while everyone else was still asleep. Think about Steve Jobs obsessing over his craft, fine-tuning every detail while others were satisfied with good enough. These people didn't waste time explaining their dreams. They just worked. They just executed. And now the world remembers them for it. So here's the truth. Your time is either working for you or against you. You're either investing it in your future or wasting it on distractions. And at the end of the day, the choice is yours. You want success? Stop explaining and start executing. You want greatness? Stop waiting for approval and start putting in the work. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do with the time you have left? 3, Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Let's be real. Some people just don't get it. And guess what? That's fine. They don't have to. Your vision, it's yours. Your dream, it's yours. Your purpose, yours. Not everybody is meant to understand it. And not everybody deserves a front row seat to it. Some folks are only around to spectate, not to support. Some are only listening so they can find ways to discourage you. And some, they just want to be close enough to the action so they can say, I told you so. If things don't go as planned, listen to me. Stop giving VIP access to people who don't even believe in you. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them proof. What you do owe is yourself the chance to thrive, to succeed, to rise above the noise. You ever notice how the loudest critics are the ones sitting on the sidelines? They ain't in the game. They ain't putting in the work, but they always got something to say. When you let too many of the wrong people get close, their energy starts messing with yours. Their doubts start planting seeds. Their negativity starts creeping in. Before you know it, you're questioning yourself, not because you don't believe, but because you let their disbelief into your space. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Will Smith said, don't ever let someone tell you you can't do something. You got a dream, you got to protect it. And that means guarding your energy, guarding your vision, guarding your time. Look, not every conversation needs to be had. Not every doubt needs to be addressed. Not every person needs a response. Some people will never see your vision clearly because they weren't meant to. You could explain it, break it down, paint the picture in HD, and they still wouldn't get it. And that's okay. Because your vision wasn't given to them, it was given to you. You ever been in a movie theater watching something amazing and there's that one person who won't stop talking, distracting you, making unnecessary comments, pulling your focus away? That's what happens when you let the wrong people too close. They take away from the experience. They don't add to it, they only subtract. So what do? You move seats, you tune them out, or you stop engaging. That's exactly how you need to treat your life. Some folks belong in the balcony, watching from a distance, not sitting front row, breathing down your neck, interrupting your performance. The truth is, the right people will see you without needing an explanation. They'll believe in you without needing proof, and they'll support you even when the results haven't shown up yet. Those are the ones who deserve a front row seat. The ones who push you forward, not pull you back. The ones who celebrate your wins instead of secretly hoping for your losses. So do yourself a favor. Take a good look at your audience. If someone's only there to spectate, criticize, or drain your energy, kindly show them the exit. Your journey is too important, your time too valuable, and your purpose too great to waste on people who don't deserve to be in your inner circle. Because at the end of the day, this is your show, and not everyone deserves a front row seat. 4, your results will speak louder than your words. Let me tell you something. Success is the loudest response you will ever give. You don't have to argue. You don't have to convince. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just do the work, stay consistent, and let the results do all the talking. When Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, do you think he went around complaining, explaining why he deserved to be on the team? No, he didn't waste time looking for sympathy or approval. He worked, he trained, he showed up every single day and made sure that the next time nobody would have the audacity to doubt him again. And now, his legacy speaks for itself. He didn't just make the team. He became one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. Some of you are spending too much time trying to make people see you, hear you, believe in you. You explaining yourself to people who don't even matter in the grand scheme of things. Let me tell you, explanation is optional, but execution, that's mandatory. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential. Just deliver, just show up, just execute. Your success will be your voice. Your results, let your impact be your explanation. See, people will doubt you. That's a given. They'll tell you what you can't do, what's impossible, what's too risky. But while they're talking, you need to be working. While they're gossiping, you need to be grinding. Because the moment you succeed, those same people will either pretend they always believed in you, or they'll be too busy watching your rise to have anything left to say. Yeah. Denzel Washington said, without commitment, you'll never start, but more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. That's the truth right there. You don't just start strong, you finish strong. You don't just talk about it, you be about it. Imagine a builder telling the world about a house they plan to build, but they never pick up a hammer. That's what a lot of people do. They talk, they dream, they explain, but they never build. Stop talking about the foundation and lay the bricks. Stop explaining why you deserve success and create it. If you stay focused on your craft, your growth will be undeniable. Your success will be so loud that the people who doubted you won't be able to ignore it. Think about the greats: Oprah, Kobe, Elon Musk, Serena Williams. They weren't out here trying to prove themselves with words. They proved themselves with work. They kept showing up, putting in the hours, sharpening their skills. And when the results came, the world had no choice but to acknowledge them. That's the energy you need to bring. So from now on, no more explaining, no more justifying, no more begging for validation. Focus on the work. Stay consistent. Stay relentless. And watch how your results make more noise than your words ever could. Because in the end, this isn't about what you say, it's about what you do. And what you do will be remembered long after the words fade away. 5, the right people don't need an. Let me tell you something. The people who truly support you don't need you to explain your every move. They trust you. They believe in you. They respect your journey. You don't have to justify your ambition to people who already see your greatness. They recognize it, they feel it, and most importantly, they encourage it. Think about it. When you see a lion in the jungle, does it explain why it's the king? No, it just is. It walks with authority. It moves with confidence. It doesn't seek validation because it knows its power. That's exactly how you need to carry yourself. Move like you belong in the space you're stepping into. Walk with purpose. Walk with conviction. The right people will, they'll have no choice but to watch. See, when you're on the road to greatness, not everyone is going to understand your vision, and that's okay. Your journey is yours. Some people will question you, doubt you, even try to make you second guess yourself. But the real ones, the ones who truly ride for you, they won't need an explanation. They won't demand proof. They'll support you even when the results haven't shown up yet. You ever notice how successful people don't waste time trying to convince others of their worth? They don't sit around explaining why they deserve success. They show it. They prove it through their actions, through their results. That's the mindset you need to have. Don't waste time debating your potential. Invest that energy into becoming everything you know you can be. Denzel Washington said, "Some people will never like you because your spirit irritates their demons." And that's the truth. Some people won't understand your journey because they weren't meant to. Some people won't support you because your ambition makes them uncomfortable, but none of that is your concern. Your job is to stay locked in, to stay focused, to surround yourself with people who get it, who push you, challenge you, and elevate you. Because here's the thing, real support doesn't require an explanation. The people who belong in your circle will cheer for you even when the stands are empty. They'll believe in you even when there's nothing to show for it yet. And when the doubters come around, let them watch. But don't you dare stop moving. Keep pushing, keep building, keep proving yourself right. At the end of the day, you don't need to convince anybody of your worth. The right people will see it. The wrong people, they were never meant to be in your story anyway. Keep going, keep growing. And let your success do all the talking. Move in silence. Let your success make the noise. My friends, I'll leave you with this. You are not responsible for making the world comfortable with your greatness. You weren't put on this earth to shrink yourself so others can feel bigger. You weren't given this vision, this fire, this drive, just to waste it explaining yourself to people who will never get it. Think about the most powerful forces in nature, the wind, the ocean, the sunrise. They don't announce themselves. They just are. They move, they rise, they make an impact without seeking permission or approval. That's exactly how you need to approach your journey. Move with purpose, move with confidence, but move in silence. Let your work do the talking. Let your results be the proof. Let your success be so undeniable that people have no choice but to take notice. Too many people waste time seeking validation from those who don't even believe in themselves. You don't need to prove yourself to people who aren't doing the work, who aren't in the arena, who aren't walking the path you're walking. Every minute you spend explaining is a minute you could have spent executing. And execution, my friends, is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Denzel Washington once said, "Dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointment. That's why you have to keep your head down and your focus sharp. Dreams alone won't get you there. Hard work, discipline, and persistence will. And the best way to silence the doubters, outwork them, outlast them, outshine them, not with words, but with action." People love to talk. They love to gossip. They love to speculate. Let them. While they're busy talking, you'll be busy building. While they're doubting, you'll be working. And by the time they realize what you've accomplished, it'll be too late for them to stop you. That's how you move in silence. That's how you let your success do all the talking. So from now on, no more announcing every move, no more explaining your vision to people who were never meant to see it, no more seeking approval from those who don't matter. Keep grinding, keep pushing, keep growing. And when it's time, when the results speak for themselves, the world will have no choice but to listen. Because in the end, the loudest statement you will ever make is winning. So from this moment forward, I want you to do something. Stop explaining, start executing. Stop convincing, start building. Stop waiting for permission, start becoming. Because one day, when you're standing at the top of the mountain, when the work has spoken for itself, when your dreams have become your reality, you look back and realize that you never needed their approval. You only ever needed to believe in yourself. Huh? Now go. Make it happen. No explanations needed.